tonight. It's another time with the Fantastic Tutor, and in today's tutorial, it happens to be the continuation of the course STT205, and we're going to be continuing from where we stopped yesterday. And yesterday we treated a lot of things. We were able to touch some things in statistics. We need to talk about the primary and secondary source of data, and from today. So today we'll be taking it from macro statistic information, and we're going to be talking about quantitative and qualitative statistics. We're going to be talking about questionnaire and the primary, the class, lower class boundary, and we also have class intervals. We're talking about all that in tonight's class. Okay. So with this being said, okay, we have STT205. Okay, there's statistics for management science 1. All right, it's basically a course for management science in the first year in 200 level. All right, so today we're going to be taking our bearing from macro statistics information. All right, so when we talk about macro, I think I need to reduce the backlight. It's reflecting on the board. Okay. Now, when we talk about macro, all right, just like what we have been treating so far in economics, all right, it's no longer in the level or in the state of micro. That has to be just individuals and firms' economic activity. And we'll talk about macro now. We're talking about the general aggregate of all economic activities. Now, these are produced by public sector, all right, macro statistical information. Statistical info. All right, this information, this statistical information can only be produced by public sector of the economy. All right, produced by the public sector, all right, of the economy. Okay, just like we have macro and micro economy, but now we're just talking about the statistical information that has to do with macro. All right, it has to do with, all right, the public sector statistical information. Okay, now we have that as that. It says here that it is concerned with economic activities like aggregate of national income. All right, just like I said earlier on, aggregate, all right, of national income. All right, these are the things, most statistics. Now, talking about statistical information on a broad level. All right, statistical information on a broad level. Looking at the economy at large. Okay, so we have aggregate of national, all right, income. Okay, we have gross national product, the GDP. All right, gross national product that has to do with all the production of goods in that country in a particular year. All right, so we have that as that. So quickly, let's talk about what we refer to as interview. All right, interview or interviewing. Now, when we say interview, now this is a conversation with a purpose. All right, you can come across this question in your exams that says dash is a conversation with a purpose. All right, we are simply referring to what we call interview or interviewing. All right, a conversation with a purpose. A conversation with a purpose. All right, interview or interviewing. Okay, now that can, all right, be formal or informal. All right, interviewing could be formal or informal. Now let's talk about that subdivided, formal, all right, or informal. All right, subdivided into two. We have formal and informal interview. All right, now informally, everybody uses interviews to obtain information. All right, now speaking about the informal approach, is what everybody uses one way or somehow to get information. It could be from a friend. You know, when we talk about informal, we are simply referring to something that is not official, unannounced, unexpected. All right, it just happens. But formally, is deliberate. All right, unannounced. All right, while this is deliberate. All right, it's an arrangement. All right, it is a deliberate thing. All right, put into consideration. So we have that as that. Now we have interviews are used in a number of situations, which include obtaining information, obtaining opinions, all right, studying, all right, behaviors, all right, selecting applicants, all right, we have reporting, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay, and we have obtaining opinion, obtaining opinion, all right, we have studying, all right, observation for the purpose of observation. We have selection of applicants, selecting applicants, all right, and lastly we have for reporting sake, all right, reporting, all right, giving, we said something about reporting as giving account of an event that happened, all right, that you're giving an account of an event that you witnessed, all right, you don't give report on basically an event you do not witness, all right, so these are the basic 4 purposes which we can use interview for, all right, so we have that as that. Now let's move straight forward to what we call questionnaire. Get my duster. Okay. When we talk about questionnaire, it's one important tool, all right, for taking observation or getting information. All right, it's one thing we're going to expand pretty much on when we get to 400 level. All right, when we're doing our research work, or when we're doing the course research methodology. Okay, now questionnaire. All right, now when we say questionnaire, questionnaire is said to be what? A list of questions. Now let's look at it as a list of questions. All right, a list of questions drawn in such a way that the questions are related to the objective of the study being conducted. Now we have a list of questions, we have objective of a study, all right, a list of questions, objective of a study, all right, being conducted, and responses to the question, all right, will be analyzed to provide, we have responses, all right, and we have, having gotten the responses to the question, all right, then we have the analyzing of solving the problem, all right, analyzing, all right, to solve a problem. Now this is the all and sundry of what we refer to as questionnaire, all right. Now we don't just do questionnaire for doing sake, all right, we do questionnaire with the purpose of getting information on solving a particular problem, all right. Now in my research work, my topic, I have a topic and I have a case study, and basically my case study happens to be my place of work, where I work, and basically it's just all about how HR, human resource policies, can be improved in order to foster good working conditions, to improve working conditions in that organization. So I had to do questionnaires and give out to respondents. And who are these respondents? People in my office, all right, different departments. All right, what do you think about this policy? How do you think these policies can be improved? Now, the reason for doing this questionnaire is to get information from my respondents. All right, who are the respondents? Those people I am intending to give out questionnaires to. All right. Now, speaking of questionnaires, we have 2 different types of questionnaire. We have the open-ended and we have the closed-ended questionnaire. We're not even talking about that now. All right, because that is a little bit more detailed in research methodology. But for the purpose of this class, all right, for the purpose of STT205, basically, we're not going to be going deeply into that. Now, just on this, we have questionnaire. It's a list of questions, all right? Just from what it sounds like, questionnaire. I have a series of questions, all right? The researcher, all right, presents this to its respondents. Now, and there's an objective, okay? Objective in the sense that the researcher, the person conducting the research intends to solve a problem with ease. Okay, there's always a problem to be solved or research to be developed upon. All right, so that's why we have research work in the first place. So the questionnaire is being given out to respondents. The questionnaire is always with a purpose. There's a purpose in heart of the researcher to be, all right, to be worked upon, and we have the responses, which are the respondents. And after these responses are being gotten back, you see the questionnaire received back by the person conducting the research. All right, this information are being analyzed and used, all right, to cushion the process of solving the intended problem. So basically, in the course here, we have two types of questionnaire. All right, we have two types. All right, two types of questionnaire. Just a moment. Okay, so we have two types of questionnaire. Now we're going to be talking about the structured and the unstructured questionnaire. All right, we have the structured and the unstructured questionnaire. Okay, now talking about the structured and unstructured questionnaire. Now the structured questionnaire is this kind of questionnaire that consists a list of questions drawn from study being conducted. All right, while the unstructured is a list of questions drawn on the study of which information is required. All right, now the respondents are free. Now this structured questionnaire, just one very slight thing, very simple thing that differentiates these two. Now this structured can as well be referred to as close-ended. All right, why is not can be referred to as open-ended? All right, now when we say this structured questionnaire, question here, all right, does not require the respondent's opinion. All right, these are questions that you can either give a yes or a no answer. Yes or no. Questions like agree or disagree. All right, they are called close-ended questions. Now it says here the structured are what? Question consisting a list. All right, questionnaire consisting a list of questions drawn on the study. All right, the researcher has drawn this question already. There is no room for, all right, bringing inputs. They are already concluded, kind of concluded questions. All right, but the unstructured here is going to give the respondent, or the unstructured questionnaire gives the respondent the opportunity to express, all right, what they think, all right, about a question, their opinion. Sorry about that. Their opinion, what they think about a particular, or about the questionnaire being given to them. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's proceed. Now we have opinion. All right, the open all we're talking about on questionnaire. Now let's just proceed. Let's move straight ahead to class interval. All right, now let's talk about class interval. Excuse me. So when we talk about class interval, what are we talking about in essence? Now, basically, mode of attempting things in the classes are we tend to address the theoretical part of things. Thereafter, we address the calculation part of it. All right, because this is a 50-50. I think it's more of even 60-40. All right, it's more of the theoretical part, about 60%, and a little bit of the calculation part, because it's not a major. All right, it's not a major, so you just have to touch a little bit for me. So we're going to be doing the theoretical part as of what we're doing now. Is the theoretical part of it, definitely. Now let's talk about class interval. Now class intervals, which will be better okay, which will be better understood when we start doing the posting and the sharing of things with our table and everything. All right, but as it is now, let's just take the theoretical part of it and let's proceed. Now we have a class interval is defined as what? Okay, now when we say class intervals, now we're talking about, all right, a non-overlapping interval selected in such a way that they are mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Now, when we say class interval, definitely, all right, each intervals are independent, all right, non-lapping, all right, mutually exclusive. All right, they are actually basically independent and mutually exclusive, meaning that if this stops here, like we have let's do 10 to 15, all right, 16 to 25, let's say 26 to 30, all right, basically, all right, they are mutually exclusive, non-lapping, and they are basically independent. All right, all this will basically be explained better or when we start doing our posting and everything. All right, now we also have class limits, which are referred to as, all right, now class limit, now there are two sides to it. Okay, now we have the lower and the upper class limit, all right, which we have, for example, let's take for example, if this is 20, which is the lower class limit, then we'll have, no, let's, okay, if this is, let's take 10 or the lower class limit, then we have the upper class limit could be 20. All right, so we have this as 20, and this could be 30. All right, this is 30, and this could be 40 to each. We also have the class boundaries, all right, as said to be, all right, for any class interval, there are two class boundaries, all right, class boundaries, right, for any, all right, for any class interval, for any class interval, all right, there are, for any class intervals, there are two class boundaries, all right, class boundaries. Now let's not get all this mixed up, let's not get it all twisted up. We'll definitely dissect it properly when we're doing the calculations, all right. So for any class boundary, all right, they are also, for any class interval, they are class mean to the upper, the mean to, all right, we have the class mark as the mean to the upper and the lower class boundary. All right, there's something we call group and ungroup data. All right, we have group and ungroup data. Okay, let me erase this open. Okay, so we have the group, all right, and we have the ungroup data. Okay, speaking of which, now for the group data, they are relatively what? Relative frequency of class interval, all right, relative frequency of class interval, all right, just like what I said earlier on, don't get it all twisted up, all right, just follow the process and grab it, all right. We'll understand better when we are doing the calculation, all right. We're supposed to be doing the posting whereby we will be solving the question, then you will have a better understanding of the whole thing. But just as it requires that there is a theoretical part to the course and there's a calculation part to the course, so we have to do due diligence to both sides, and this is what we're doing here, all right. So let's just proceed. So now for the group data, we have relative frequency of class interval, that is for the group data, and we have, so for the group data now we have relative frequency of the class interval, all right, divided by the total frequency of a class interval. By total frequency, we have relative frequency of value, all right, for the total frequency. Now, all right, for the ungroup, now we have the total value, all right, of the frequency. All right, relative frequency. All right, relative frequency. Relative frequency of value. All right, divided, all right, by the total frequency. All right, divided by the total frequency of all class interval. Frequencies of all class interval. All right, so we have that as that. Now let's proceed. Okay, now we have now we have histogram. Histogram. Now, one of the ways of presenting or representing the frequency distribution is by means of histogram, and it's said to be what? All right, used to estimate. All right, used in the estimation. All right, the mode of distribution. All right, used to estimate the mode of distribution. All right, and it's said to be, all right, using to what? Estimate the mode of distribution. That is for the histogram. And another way of representing frequency distribution, all right, graphically, is the means of frequency polygon. All right, frequency polygon. All right, representing. All right, representing frequency distribution graphically. Frequency distribution graphically. All right, representing the frequency distribution graphically. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's proceed. Let's talk about OGIF. We have OGIF. Now, there's some other name used in representing OGIF, which is referred to as cumulative frequency distribution curve. All right. All right. Cumulative. That's single M. All right. Frequency distribution. curve. That's another name for OGIF. Okay, and this can only be plotted on the graph sheet. All right, only plotted on a graph sheet. All right, OGIF can only be plotted on a graph sheet. It's another way of what? Representing frequency distribution graphically. All right, now we have the bar chart. That's BC, the bar chart. All right, now the bar chart shows vertical bars. All right, it's also a graphical representation, all right, but it's particular about showing of vertical bars. All right, it shows vertical bars with what? Equal width to represent values of variables. All right, shows vertical bars. All right, and these vertical bars has equal, all right, with equal width, right? The wideness, they are equal, all right, representing the values of variable, all right, in some interval of time. All right, representing values of variables. All right, representing values of variables. So we have that as that. Now, okay, now for multiple bar charts, now for what we call, there's something we call multiple, all right, multiple bar charts. All right, in this case, under multiple bar chart, is being represented by a bar whose length is corresponding to the value of its component. All right, bars correspond to years. All right, or now values of components. Let's take this instead to values of components. All right, meaning that if, for example, we have 20 years, 30 years, this, if this is like this, then this is should represent the different, all right, values of components. Now we also have what we call the pie chart. The pie chart. Okay, just a moment. Now we have, okay, so now we have the pie chart, which is set to be, all right, now values are proportional. All right, values here are what? Proportional to areas or sectors. All right, proportional to areas of. Thank you very much, everyone. Just keep up the good work as the exam is joining. Let's do well to attend class. If there are any classes we have missed, let's do well to attend classes frequently. All right, attend to our notes. All right, also there are need